Hello.
Hello.
I'm Kimberly.
I'm Michael.
And today we are reviewing Inside Out 2.
2.
Well, I saw the first Inside Out, I think in 2015, and you never saw that,
Never
right?
saw it, no.
So he went in blind to Inside Out 2. I tried to explain a little bit about what Inside Out 1 was. And I remember thinking the characters were really cute and really adorable. And I just loved how the movie was for adults and children, sort of like Shrek. It was funny and cute for kids, but also it had a lot of deeper psychological things for adults.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot like Barbie or Toy Story, because you have kind of the real world, and then you have the world of the emotional avatars, or whatever they are.
Yeah.
The voice acting was great for each of them, the different emotions, especially anxiety. That was crazy.
Yeah. Anxiety was a lot of fun.
Anger is really funny. I want to say that's Lewis Black that did Anger.
I think you might be right, yeah.
And I could be wrong, but it was this really like grouchy, like sort of thing. And then the main one, Joy, was really good. They were all great. And then we were introduced to embarrassment, boredom, and envy.
Envy, yeah. Because in the first Inside Out, it was just joy, sadness, anger, and disgust,
Yeah.
I think. And then in this one, we were introduced to anxiety. And I love how anxiety started to take over as soon as she hit puberty. Because if you're an adult watching this, you can reminisce about how you experienced puberty, or if you have kids, it's relatable to anyone who knows what puberty is like and who understands how that changes you and turns you into an anxious person. I think one of my favorite lines in the movie was when we started to lose joy, or Riley started to lose joy, and Joy started to become less joyful. And she said, maybe as we get older, we don't experience as much joy, or we don't need as much joy, or something like that. And it was sad but true, because I feel like, especially the average American, once they hit puberty, you're dealing with like life stresses. You're a young adult, and anxiety often rolls over your other emotions. And anybody who's ever been anxious, I'm sure we all have at some point in life, can relate to that feeling of anxiety taking over, and all the other emotions are secondary to that. I love that scene at the skating rink where anxiety was just like frozen, like, and then Joy came up to her and she was like, "You don't get to choose who she is." And then she pulled anxiety away, and anxiety was like, "You're right, we don't get to choose who Riley is." And then I love how Riley chooses who she is. Riley chooses which emotion to kind of experience, and then she kind of finds her balance with all of the emotions. So it's sort of like a reminder of like the human experience, how we have these emotions, and sometimes it feels like our emotions are running us, that we don't have control of them. But we actually can control our emotions, and we can choose. We can make a choice how to behave.
I thought that it's a pretty brilliant idea, taking the emotions and making them little Pixar characters. There's some really great things with the memories and the different, whatever those little synaptic lines that led to her promises, or her constitution, or basically her personality, or the things,
her sense of self.
Right. And all of that is a really cool idea about kind of how. And then there was the funny thing when she's interacting with her friends, and then her friends also have those little emotional inner workings in their brain, and it's like this whole team of emotions pulling levers to get her to do things or react a certain way. So I thought it was just a really brilliant concept. I never saw the first one, so I guess the first one already kind of did this, and it was probably really great then. So I was seeing it for the first time in the sequel was cool. I could kind of see where they were going pretty early on. Like anxiety is going to be the villain.
Yeah, you called that.
The new emotions coming in are going to kind of be the bad guys, and then it's up to kind of the little boy and his toaster,
yeah,
or the brave little toaster,
yeah,
sort of cadre of emotions to get back to save their the Riley, who is like their the little boy that has the toys in Toy Story, or the girl that has the Barbies in Barbie. So they're going after actually it wasn't the little girl in Barbie, it was the mother who had the Barbie. So it's kind of a similar line that we see in a lot of these films, but this one is really great, does it really in a clever way, and it's actually like really good for kids. So yeah, I like this one quite a bit. You were right about it.
I forgot about the Brave Little Toaster. Comment below if you love the Brave Little Toaster. That was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. But I had a feeling you would like this.
Yeah.
Because you took a lot of psychology classes in college, and I minored in psychology. So I know that, you're fascinated with psychology. So that's why I thought you would like this, because it is very layered. And one thing that this movie did that the first one didn't was the sense of self, and how your thoughts formulate beliefs, which relate to your sense of self, and how you lose your sense of self.
They already established that in this one.
Yeah.
It was already established in I guess the first one.
So no, in the first one...
That's about that, yeah.
In the first one, they didn't have the whole sense of self and how your thoughts form beliefs, I don't think.
It's a simple idea. I got it, so I didn't really have to see the first one to understand that.
Yeah.
And that's why these movies... I hope they make more of them. I mean, these ones really... I don't always like Pixar movies. I don't always like Marvel movies. I don't always like Pixar movies. But if it's a good one, like Logan or something, for example, or this... then I like it. So yeah, I would give this a pretty high recommend. I would tell people to go see it in the theater.
So we talked about what we liked about it. Is there anything that you didn't like about it?
I would say that the storyline for Riley's character is as sort of the B plot of the story, which we're following her struggles with the hockey team and her new friends, and going, whether or not she's going to steal the coach's notebook. I felt like that plot line is probably, it probably could have been stronger. I'm sure it was stronger in the first movie, whatever Riley's going through. Mm-hmm. This one's a little more like the stakes are not the highest for her. Like, she's just kind of losing her best friends, or she's making a bad impression with the hockey coach. But it was enough to where it meant enough to her. It meant enough to the emotions where, well, this could actually lead her to becoming like a failure in life or something. Is the idea?
It felt like really high stakes, and when you're an adolescent, things like that do feel really high stakes.
Right. It's something that's really not that important feels important, and that's
when you're a teenager.
So honestly, my issue with the film is really not that big of an issue. It's probably works very nicely, actually. So,
do you have a favorite part of the film?
I like when they put sadness in a little bucket when she's tied up, when she sneaks in there, and I like when anxiety just completely loses her mind when Riley starts having a panic attack, and anxiety turns into the Tasmanian devil and is like going out of control, and then like Joy comes in to stop her, but we see this crazy whirlwind of stuff happening, but we just see anxiety's like frozen.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really fun. It's really, really funny sort of slapstick almost visuals that they had in there.
I think my favorite part of the film was just the introducing the more complex emotions, because in the first film it sort of teaches you that we need all of our emotions, that all of our emotions are valid, and we need sadness in order to experience joy. They coexist hand in hand. And so I just think like the valuable lessons in there for kids it's my favorite part of the movie. And it's also a nice reminder for us adults too. I love that they introduce more complex emotions in this one. Even what was it? Not the repressed memory, but it was like the dark secrets. And so we explore deeper into Riley's mind with the dark secret, and then with her
the video game
with
character.
the video game character,
Yeah,
which is really funny.
They do some really interesting animation
And Pouchy.
stuff. Yeah. I forgot about Pouchy. The joy has the most, because joy can be sad. You can be sad while you have joy. You can actually have all of the emotions contained inside of joy.
Mm-hmm.
So joy is probably the most broad, all-encompassing, the most important one.
So you liked her character the most.
It's a deeper emotion than just sadness or just anger or just fear or whatever. Mm-hmm. You can have joy in any situation. Mm-hmm. Joy can kind of exist. It's a deeper emotion, I guess is what I'm saying. So her emotion, I don't like the character the best, but I like the in terms of what that emotion means and what it represents. I think that's the most profound.
Well, maybe that's why she's sort of like the head of all of them.
Yeah,
you know,
I think that's
to
what
lead with joy.
That's what they figured out.
Yeah,
the writers figured out. Okay, this is the most
valuable emotion, or the emotion that everybody wants to experience more of. Like we all want to experience more joy.
It's saying that we should lead with that emotion.
Yeah,
we shouldn't lead with fear or with sadness or with anger.
We should lead with joy.
Lead with joy, and that will sort of lead you.
I also love the part about how memory affects your sense of self, and how you can sometimes rewrite your memories, which is really fascinating too. And I just love all the layers for kids and adults, and it's educational for kids, but it's also kind of meaningful and entertaining for adults. So
what do you give it out of 10?
1 out of 10. I give it a 10.
So I would give it an 8.5, just because I have pretty high standards. I have like the goal, like something that's just totally perfect, like Shawshank Redemption is a 10. I don't know if this meets that, but it's really, really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
So yeah, I would recommend going to see it in theaters. I'd recommend anybody go see it, whether you're a parent, whether you're a kid, whether you don't have kids. I would recommend going to see it.
Yeah, I would recommend it as well. Go see it, or stream it, or whatever is the most convenient for you. But it's definitely see it.
And if you've already seen it, comment below. Let us know your thoughts. Do you think that we missed the mark? Do you think that we missed something about the movie? Let us know your thoughts. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.